This is the daily reflection for the online Lent calendar for Chorley and Leyland Methodists. The reading is Matthew 14, verses 13 to 16. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed those who were ill. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." Despite having just heard of the death of John the Baptist and wanting to withdraw to somewhere quiet, Jesus was unfazed by the huge crowd that had followed him. The people had needs, and Jesus had the compassion to meet those needs. But the crowd didn't go away. They wanted to see and hear more of Jesus. They were physically hungry as well as spiritually hungry. Jesus asked the disciples to have compassion on them and feed them. How could they? They had neither food nor the money to buy food. But what they could not do, Jesus could. It started with one small act of love, a boy offering his packed lunch. What difference would that make, the disciples wondered. As we know from reading the rest of the story, it made all the difference. You're probably familiar with the story of the young boy walking along the seashore and finding thousands of starfish stranded on the beach. He started to pick them up one by one and carry them back to the sea. An older man came by, asked him what he was doing, and said, "That's not going to make any difference. There are thousands of them." The boy, holding one starfish, said, "It'll make a difference to that one." The story goes on to say how the older man told his friends what had happened, and before long they were all down at the seashore, returning starfish to the sea. We may think that the world's problems of hunger, warfare, disease are far too big for our capacity for compassion. But what we cannot do, Jesus can. It starts with just one act of compassion, one act of caring, one gift, however small, of money. This is a prayer by Abbé Michel Coist. The bricklayer laid a brick on a bed of cement. Then, with a precise stroke of his trowel, spread another layer. And without a by your leave, laid on another brick. The foundations grew visibly. The building rose tall and strong to shelter men. I thought, Lord, of that brick, buried in the darkness at the base of the big building. No one sees it, but it accomplishes its task, and the other bricks need it. Lord, what difference, whether I'm on the rooftop or in the foundation of your building, as long as I stand faithfully in the right place.